Man, it is so tough seeing Dominic Cruz like that. Like I've been a fan of the man for a very long time. I still think, in a lot of ways, he is the bantamweight goat. Like when you think about the bantamweight division, just the same way when you think about the featherweight division, you think about Jose Aldo. You think about the light heavyweight division, you're thinking about John Jones. You think about the welterweight division, you're thinking GSP. Think about middleweight, you're thinking about someone like Anderson the Spider Silva. Um, it's pretty much the same way that when you think about the bantamweight division, you're thinking about Dominic Cruz. He was the guy for a long time. He was the guy to beat. He had a very interesting style, a very complicated style, and he had a complex style around the time that a lot of mixed martial arts fighters were actually really one dimensional, and a lot of people that were fighting Dominic Cruz, a lot of his opponents were fairly one dimensional. A lot of them were pretty much wrestlers with overhand rights. You're talking about the Uriah Fabers of the world. Of course, Dominic Cruz fought Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, and DJ was actually the first guy to really understand what Dominic Cruz was doing on the feet. He really understood it. He was able to land on Cruz more than anyone else had, and Dominic Cruz actually had to resort to a lot of wrestling to win that fight. Why am I saying all this? Well, it's always fascinating to me to see someone that used to be a huge puzzle, someone that a lot of people just could not really figure out. Suddenly, everybody figures him out. Lyoto Machida used to be just like that. The Machida used to be the guy to figure out in the light heavyweight division. He would just run into people. I mean, people would run into him. He would shred fighters. They were unable to hit him. He was so freaking elusive. And then one day, Shogun figured him out. And then from there, everybody else just starts to figure him out. And the key thing, or the concept, the one thing you'll see repeating itself over and over again, especially when it comes to these very elusive fighters, is the opponents that are able to shoot and fire at where they'll be as opposed to where they are generally the ones that are able to catch them. With someone like Dominic Cruz, who is so freaking elusive, he's a moving target. He moves nonstop. He's rarely ever stationary. His style is not like the Muay Thai style where, they're generally more flat-footed so they can have a lot of power. But these guys, you typically know exactly where they'll be. Someone like Dominic Cruz, he's hitting you while in motion, someone like that, to actually land on someone like that, you pretty much have to treat him like you're a sniper, And a lot of times, the little that I know about snipers, a lot of times they don't actually shoot at where the target is, especially if they are shooting at a moving target. They fire at where they believe the target will be. And so by the time the target gets there, the shot has already reached them. And tonight we saw a huge example of that. Of course, Dominic Cruz fighting Chito Vera. I believe he is like 17-0 in non-title fights. Something. I saw that number ahead of time, and I think I'm butchering that number. Pretty much the point is Dominic Cruz has not really lost fights that are not title fights. This is the first one. Ran into Chito Vera, a man who we have come to see is very composed. His style of fighting is, he takes his sweet time. He's very calculated. He focuses more on quality as opposed to quantity, right? He's not going to throw a lot of shots, but the few shots that he does throw are very well timed. The shot selection is very good. The precision is really there. And when you're facing someone like Dominic Cruz, who's really elusive, it's not about like firing multiple shots at him and hoping one lands. Sometimes the best way to deal with him is just pinpoint accuracy. And that pinpoint accuracy always comes from you recognizing patterns. You watch him, see how he's moving. When he throws a jab, where does he exit? When he throws a cross, what happens to his feet? What's his favorite head movement style? Is he leaning to the left? Is he leaning to the right? After he throws a cross, does he duck? Does he pull back? You know, what is his pattern before he ducks down to shoot a takedown? The fighters that are able to figure out these patterns by watching, just watching him move like a computer. You're gathering information and you're just watching him. Fighters that are able to do that are the types of fighters that are able to catch Dominic Cruz. We saw Henry Cejudo do that very well with the knee. It was a really well-timed knee. Fired the knee where he believed Dominic Cruz was going to be, and he caught him. He caught him clean with the knee. When Cody was blasting Dominic Cruz, it was the same thing. Firing really, really clean, precise shots where he believed Cruz would be, and he was landing. And that is exactly what Mr. Vera did today. The fight was going really well in a lot of ways for Dominic Cruz. He was the one that was outlanding in the fight. He was landing so many shots. He was so aggressive. I mean, the moment the referee said go, Dominic charged right at him. And you could sense from his tone that he really came to fight. You know, he came to, this wasn't going to be one of those, I'm just going to be elusive. I'm going to try everything in my power not to get hit sort of fights. No, Dominic Cruz really looked like he came to go, you know, to actually have a fight, a knock, a proper knock where there's a potential I'm going to get hit. And he did get hit. I believe he got sat down pretty much every round. Because what would happen was, you know, Chito Vera would stay really patient. Dominic Cruz will wing a bunch of really, erratic shots at him. Some will get through, some will get blocked. A lot of leg kicks, a lot of clean body shots. And then Vera would time something. He would time a jab. He would time a hook. You know, he would time a cross. And it would consistently land. Of course, there was also a clear difference in power between both of them, 100%. Because there were some clean shots that Dominic Cruz landed that didn't really have much of an effect on Chito Vera, which is, you know, also something to keep in mind with Dominic Cruz. He hasn't really been known as a powerful guy, so he needs a lot of volume. He needs to break the opponent down. But man, later rounds, everything is going as planned. Dominic Cruz finds himself pinned against the cage. And Chito Vera just times a beautiful, beautiful head kick, man. Beautifully timed. He threw a cross. He knew that Dominic Cruz was going to exit to the right, which is something that Dominic Cruz was doing the whole entire fight. If you go back and watch, he really was. He was consistently exiting to the right over and over again. And so Chito Vera threw the right cross, followed up with a left roundhouse to the head. And absolutely freaking blasted Dominic Cruz, man. It was a nasty KO. You know, the moment that kick landed, you could tell that it shattered his nose. I mean, the blood started to pour. He fell face down. Chito Vera followed him to the ground, teed off on him. And that was that. Got him out of there. And it just what a weird and just not the greatest sight to see, you know? Dominic Cruz is a fucking legend, man. That dude's a legend. He's been doing this for such a long time. It just feels like his career is coming to a halt in a way that, it doesn't deserve to end. You know what I mean? You look at someone like Dominic Cruz, the amount of time he's put in, man, he deserves to be champion again, right? You know, in that weight class, he really does deserve to be champion again. All the injuries, you know, the time off that he's had, he really deserves to be champion again. But it doesn't look like he's going to be anymore. You know, the fighters of today, they figured him out. You know, we can confidently say that Dominic Cruz has been figured out. And I don't see him beating Petr Yan. Him versus Aljo would be a very interesting fight. This is one of those situations where I think he actually has a chance to beat the champion. Because he and Aljo, they both have a very similar style. They're striking, very erratic. They both favor wrestling. They both have really good cardio. And they're both, neither of them are really known for being powerful. You know what I mean? Aljo is not exactly the most powerful guy in the world. Not to say he can't put your lights out, but it's not what he's known for. And so it really would be a very interesting stylistic matchup between Dominic and the champion. I would really want to see that, but he would have to go through guys like Yan to get to it. and I just don't see it. I don't see a situation where he's able to beat those guys. So yeah, I don't know what's next. I really don't know what's next. I'm hoping maybe Dominic Cruz versus Sean O'Malley. I think that'd be a good one. I think it will be a good test for Sean O'Malley, and also a good way for us to see where Dominic Cruz is. Again, I mean, it's so tough. It's so tough. Do I think he'll retire? Unlikely. Dominic Cruz is a very mentally strong guy. He's already proved that multiple times with how he handled the injury. So I don't think he's gonna retire. I think he's gonna keep going. That said, he's also a very smart guy. He's a sort of fighter that will recognize when it's over, when it's time to hang it up. I think if there's anyone that will be able to recognize that, it's gonna be Dominic Cruz. So, anyways, pretty bittersweet, because I enjoy very skillful, efficient fighters, but I also don't enjoy watching my favorites get KO'd. You know what I mean? So, great win for Chito Vera. Solid win. And looking forward to seeing what happens next with Dominic Cruz. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, go right ahead and leave a like. It always helps out the channel. And I will see you guys later with a brand new one. As always, stay safe. Peace out. Have a good night, boys.